This was the crazy scene as a horde of raccoons swarmed over a backyard. The frantic homeowner called for help.
I have anywhere from 50 to 100 raccoons. I need an officer. I need somebody to see these things.
She tells 911 that she's hiding in her car.
I'm right in my car. They chased me all the way out through the backyard.
This is the Chase Bank in Redwood City. The bank was closed, but the evidence shows the two raccoons likely clammed into a vent and fell through the ceiling. They weren't after the cash, at least we don't think so. Maybe just looking for some food.
The raccoon invasion. Is it a serious problem, or has it been over-exaggerated? Raccoons native to North America are, or have, taken over urban and metropolitan cities, not just in their native habitat, but around cities worldwide. Raccoons are thriving and booming in numbers, and it does not seem to have happened by accident, at least not entirely. Raccoons are super smart, adaptable, and don't seem to mind humans the way some other animals do, oftentimes benefiting from their presence. So, how smart are they? According to various studies conducted by the University of Vanderbilt, raccoons have over 438 million neurons in their relatively small brains. Impressive considering that cats, about the same size as a raccoon, have 230 million, while dogs have about 530 million. To be fair, the number of neurons is not the end-all be-all, as in several problem-solving experiments, researchers found that raccoons often solve tests outside of the guidelines. A research group from the University of Wyoming and the USDA National Wildlife Research Center set up a study for 8 raccoons. The study consisted of a cylinder, some water, inside a single floating marshmallow, and stones placed on the rim of the tube. Simply drop the stone, increase the water level, get the marshmallow. After exposing the raccoons to the first method, they repeated it again, but this time with the stones on the floor. 2 out of the 8 raccoons did exactly that, but a third one opted to knock it over. Now quoting a researcher, "We found raccoons to be innovative in many aspects of this task, and we observed diverse, investigative behaviors that are unique to raccoons." So not the craziest or most impressive study ever, but pretty clearly showing indications of advanced cognition. Raccoons, as also mentioned, are super adaptable, not just to urban environments, but to plenty of natural environments as well, due in large part to the opportunistic nature of raccoons, who will eat literally just about anything from insects, fruits, trash, human leftovers, and wildlife like rodents and birds. But about those human leftovers, according to a collaborative study headlined by scientists from Lowertown University, urban raccoons often are fatter and have higher blood glucose levels when compared to their rural counterparts. Aside from food, and in addition to their smarts, raccoons also possess extremely dexterous hands, capable of accessing many objects that require advanced dexterity. They might even be better than us. And when compared to humans, raccoons have 4 to 5 times more mechanoreceptors in their paws, hence why they heavily rely on touch to gather information around them. A very common reason why you will see raccoons look like they're washing their food, but they actually handle food underwater to increase their sensitivity. All in all, these characteristics are why they are considered a problem worldwide. They are not only physically capable of thriving in urban environments next to humans, but they also have the mental capacity to remember patterns and avoid negative things, such as high traffic areas, traps, and likewise positive patterns, like where people throw away food and how to get through man-made barriers, such as locks, levers, and handles. This premise backed by York University's own Suzanne McDonald, who conducted a study that involved GPS tracking raccoons. What she found was not only that raccoons avoided high traffic areas, but also urban inhabiting raccoons, when compared to their rural counterparts, were much more successful in accessing hard to open bins, suggesting that we may be inadvertently setting up perfect city classrooms where raccoons can learn to become official city critters. Additionally, raccoons cause ecological damage to areas where they are foreign to, cause damage to infrastructure, get in trash cans, and literally just about anything else, while making loads of mess in the process, of course. Raccoons are also known to spread various disease, more notably rabies, roundworm, and a disease called leptospirosis, which can be transferred by soil and water to humans and pets. This being a complicated matter, because we encourage this type of behavior and introduce them to areas where they are not native to, and to no fault of their own, which in my opinion means that we should not resort to lethal methods as a first resort. To combat these dumpster diving bandits, some countries like Canada, home to the city of Toronto, aka the raccoon capital of the world, took the less lethal route and spent a whopping $31 million on raccoon resistant waste bins. Although the bins did yield some results, it took him just 4 days to learn how to tip them over and break the locks. As mentioned before, raccoons are native to North America, but they are also found in select parts of Europe and Asia. Why, you may ask? In the early 20th century, the fur trade got its hands on raccoons, and sometime around the 1920s, the first raccoon breeding farm was established in Germany. And as you would expect, sooner or later, raccoons were escaping or being deliberately released. Two prime examples of this include the release of 2 pregnant raccoons on the Ettersea Lake near Kassel in 1934. The reason behind it, oddly enough, was to enrich the fauna. Another example in 1945, when 20 raccoons escaped a breeding farm located in Wolfsheik in Brandenburg after it was struck by a bomb. And still today, these 2 areas remain hotspots for raccoon populations today. But that did not transpire overnight. In 1956, 24 years later after the earliest recorded release, there was an estimated 280 raccoons in the wild. And today, they are numbered well over the millions. And still today, raccoons are adapting and reproducing at the speed of light, popping up in France, Italy, Spain, etc., etc. Furthermore, raccoons were also introduced into Asia, although much later, and due to the international pet trade. Raccoons were so popular, in fact, that during the 70s at one point, almost 1,500 raccoons were being imported a month from the US to Japan, until Japanese officials banned the import of raccoons. But again, as you could imagine, it would prove to be far too late, as raccoons would again escape or be deliberately released into the wild. The popularity of owning raccoons is often attributed to a 1970s anime that ran 52 episodes under the name Rascal the Raccoon. And as Rascal the Raccoon grows up, he becomes a nuisance, and his family puts him in an enclosure, where he then sees a fellow raccoon in the wild, and the question if he belongs in captivity or in the wild is asked, tugging at a lot of people's heartstrings. Possibly, and probably, a reason a lot of people ended up releasing their pet raccoon. Fast forward to today, they're eating crops, decimating native fauna like Japanese crayfish, Ezo salamander, and Japanese raccoon dogs, which might look darn near identical and compete for the same food, but are not related at all. So yeah, raccoons are running rampant throughout major cities around the globe. Is it a big deal? If yes, why? And if no, why? And how would you go about handling it? But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.